All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and right here, right now, we actually have a phenomenal individual taking over the radio station airwaves. This individual is a phenomenal boom bap producer, MC. He is a jack of all trades within the hip hop community. We got C the Cuban right here, right now. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. What's going on, Canada?
I gotta say, man, it's definitely an honor just to have you on the radio station dial this evening, man. Hope everything is all well on your end, man, and your Monday is actually treating you good. Because I do know, with just humans, man, Monday is always one of those dreadful kind of days.
Yeah, it's the first day of the week, so you know how it is. You're coming off the weekend, you're running around, making things happen that you couldn't do during the week. So yeah, you know how it is. Top of the week, Monday, but we still got to get it done.
I definitely agree with that, man. And speaking of getting it done, man, I'm going to dive right into this interview, man. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career this far. And I have to ask, man, what originally made you decide to pursue a career within the music industry initially, man? Because you were so great at what you do.
I don't know. I was just surrounded by it initially, like from grammar school, grade school, from like the first grade to eighth grade. I was just surrounded by hip hop greatness. So it's just something that I gravitated to. You know, I used to listen to the radio a lot, and I was like a sponge. You know, every time I turned on listening to like WHDI, which was Mr. Magic's radio show back in the 80s, and listening to like the one of these guys. Right now, I'm catching a blank right now. All right, I'll get back to that anyway. But I used to listen to Mr. Magic show, and that to me was like, he was the one that just started that whole hip hop radio. Because nobody wanted to play hip hop on the radio; it always played really late at night. So he was the brave soul to say, "Listen, we gonna play this," and he was playing hip hop when nobody else wanted to play it. So, it was all new to my ears. It was just something that I gravitated to, Oh, the Awesome 2 were the other guys. They were from Jersey, and they had a radio show as well, the Awesome 2, Teddy Ted and Special K. And, that show was just on that same level, playing all the underground stuff. And they came on late, too, because they couldn't get a big, like an early spot on the radio. So, I gravitated to those types of shows,
And also as well, man, in the year 1998, you actually did production work on the 12-inch maxi single for Deep Trans and Street Relics titled It's Only Getting Worse. I was wondering if you can actually just tell our listeners a bit more about this project, and of course, how did that opportunity originally arise for you back in the year 98?
Well, back then, we were trying to get signed up. We were trying to shop records around and trying to get a deal. And, that was hard to do back in those days. So what we did, we just actually, we had built a studio, and then we were just recording our own music and working with different artists in our own studio. And then we got to the point that we said, you know what, let's just press this to vinyl, and we just started pressing up records. Whatever we did in the studio that we thought was better than just being a regular demo, we would just press it up. So that's basically what we were doing. We were just pressing our own stuff. That's the route we took.
And if I'm not mistaken, that project was actually released on Combined Minds Entertainment, man. Such a phenomenal, such a phenomenal entertainment company.
Yeah, that was our. We started that Combined Minds Entertainment, so that was the name of the imprint, and that's what we were releasing all the records under Combined Minds Entertainment. But yeah, it was just a startup project. I mean, we had a lot of love for the music, so we just decided to do it. Take it upon ourselves and just put in our own money and just do it ourselves. It was the best way to go. Nobody wanted to sign us. We were trying to shop around, and we just couldn't get a deal. So.
And I have to ask, man, because obviously back in like even the late '90s, not a lot of people really had that mindset to be like, these individuals aren't signing me. I'm going to create my own entertainment company / label. What actually made you guys decide to originally just kind of have that idea, man? Because like I mentioned, not a lot of people are really doing that. Well, like.
Yeah, well, I actually had been signed to a label back in 1990, which it was called Next Plateau Records. So I kind of had a little experience of being on a record label and kind of how they ran the label. So I guess seeing that I was already signed to a label back in 1990, we did a hip house record back in the day. It was actually, I was rapping over it, but it was actually a hip house sound to it. It was more like electronic type of music. And I had gotten signed to the Next Plateau label, which was run by Eddie O'Loughlin, and they had Salt and Pepper on there, Ultramagnetic, MCs, Civil. They had a few different acts, Antoinette. They had a few different acts on there. So I did that, and then after that, I kind of just went on my own and just said, listen, if I could be signed to this label, I could definitely start up a label and put my own projects out and just go that route. I had the confidence to do it because I felt that I had already been signed to a label, so I felt like, I was bold enough to do it, pretty much.
And also, as well, as you already know, you have done some extensive amount of work with Nutrageous, also known as Nutso. I was wondering if you can actually just tell our listeners a bit more about that business partnership, and of course, how did yourself and Nutso originally get connected?
I met Nutso back in '97. As a matter of fact, I met Nutso after we had put that record together with Deep Trans and Street Relics on Combined Minds Entertainment. We had put that record out. Nutso, at the time he was Nutrageous, he was out in the streets rapping just like in cyphers and stuff like that. He would go to a lot of those beat battles that Eminem was doing back in the '90s, and he'd always be involved in battling. And he never wrote, he wrote verses, but he didn't know the structure of the song. So then he saw that we had dropped that record, and we were getting a little buzz around town in Queens, because he's from Flushing, Queens, and we were from like Astoria, Jackson Heights, Corona, Queens. And he, I met him through my friend's brother, and then they told us, this guy Nutrageous from Flushing, he sounds pretty good or whatever. And then I met up with him, and then the rest was history. We took him to the studio. We taught him how to write bars, and he pretty much just used to write his own material. He just used to keep writing, he didn't have a structure in the way the song was supposed to be constructed. He just kept writing and writing, and the hooks were longer than they were supposed to be. So we just gave him a lot of structure, and we basically just put him in the vocal booth. He never had been in the vocal booth. He never had recorded his own voice or anything like that. So once we got him in there, then the rest was history.
And honestly, me personally, I don't know my my New York City borough geographies, but it sounds like you guys were just right around the corner from one another, because I know and what you said was you're both from Queens. Yeah.
He was maybe like 15 minutes from me. So he was over by where the New York Mets play baseball, which was a stadium. It's called Citi Field now, but back then it was called Shea Stadium. So we were like 15 minutes from Flushing, because I was from Corona, Jackson Heights, and he was in Flushing. So it was like a 15-minute car ride. Or if you took the train, it was like maybe a 25-minute train ride on the 7 train. So that's the subway that connects us, the 7 train. So yeah, we were fairly close.
And also, as well, I actually read that you actually had the opportunity to work alongside the Beatnuts. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about that, and of course, what was it like just working alongside those legendary individuals?
Oh yeah, man, that to me was like an incredible process. Like it was their first EP. They were coming out with called The Intoxicated Demon. So I was in there with a friend of mine called Vic, which was an unofficial fourth member, you want to say, Beatnuts, because it's Juju, Psycholes, and it was Al Tariq, and then it was Vic, which Vic wasn't really a rapper, he was more of a producer. So we would always go into the studio when they were recording their first EP, and then, the whole process of programming the drums, sampling the stuff, recording the vocals, it was a great experience, you know what I mean? From that perspective, it was amazing just to be in there, and the Beatnuts, as I know the Beatnuts, their beats are incredible. You know what I mean? Like it was just awesome. Like it was just something that I I gravitated to something that I'm glad I was part of, and I was able to absorb it, and I use it in what I'm doing today. You know, it influenced me in so many ways.
And I gotta say as well, when you actually just talked about like just their beats, man. Honestly, I always found when you actually put on a Beatnuts just a record, you automatically know before their vocals even hit that it is the Beatnuts. They had such a unique sound, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, they have that signature Beatnuts sound. Yeah, I agree with you. They just had that sound that you knew the minute you dropped the needle on that vinyl, or you played the CD, or you put the tape on play, you were like, yo, that's like, without even hearing them rap or say Beatnuts, that's a Beatnuts track. You knew it. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you.
And also as well, on May 8th of 2009, you were actually featured on the Soul Brothers album Collector's Item on the skit E-Track. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about that opportunity, and of course, what was it like just actually being a part of that particular skit?
Oh yeah, that's the Soul Brothers, Germany, Soul Singer Dan and D-Bass. Yeah, I met them. I was working on a few projects with No Rages, and we were doing stuff with Craig Genius and Dot X at the time. And they had reached out to me, and they had said they were working on an album, and if I wanted to collaborate with them, they were from Germany, and I started hearing their stuff, and I really took interest to their music because they had a lot of respect for the boom bap style of music, and it showed in their production. So then we started working on a few different tracks, and then that's what became the Soul Brother album. You know, I helped them put together. They had other various artists on there as well, but we contributed like 4 or 5 tracks to that album, so we were a huge part of that first album they did. So they had said to me if I could do a little skit for them on there. And at the time, computers and all that stuff was coming in as far as what people were using to make beats. And I kind of was making fun of people that were using like computers to make beats and making, Fruity Loops and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you use. I think it just you just have to make the music sound soulful and meaningful. And if you created it with a drum machine with pads, or if you created it with a laptop with Fruity Loops, I mean, you can really get the same result, at the end of the day.
And I gotta say as well, man, just me personally, I really enjoyed that skit, man. And what I don't understand is why artists don't actually put together full-length albums today and actually do stuff like they used to, man. Because I gotta say, man, the skits actually bring more of the entertainment side to the record as well. It's a good break, good quick, like 1 to 2 minute break in between songs. In my honest opinion, maybe it's just the old school in me talking, but it's much better just hearing a few funny skits in between.
Oh no, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, De La Soul was before. I don't know. It might be someone before De La Soul, but when De La Soul did the Five Feet High and Rising album, they were like those skits are incredible. I don't know if you got hear them. If you go back and hear that, they were like the first ones to do skits for albums.
And I do know it's completely off topic with the album you just brought up, but when I think about funny skits or just skits in general for albums, man, I always think about the old school Nellyville project, man, where in between songs this guy was trying to find a copy of Nellyville so he can actually get his girl in the sack.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I remember that one. So yeah, that's funny, but you're right. It's entertaining at the same time. So before people get into your song, you're giving them a little something to reel them in. Like, oh man, that shit was funny. You heard what he did? He had his girl in the back while he was going to try to find his records. Like that's amazing, and that's a good thing because it's a different form of entertainment, but it's their interludes that introduce you into the song, and then later when you love the song, you can't listen to that song without the interlude in the beginning, like Pete Rock and the Soul Brother. Like the first album they did had a lot of dope interludes before it went into that actual song. So I get what you're saying. I miss that too. I definitely miss it.
And also as well, you actually had the opportunity recently to actually produce 4 joints on Nutso's newest album. I was wondering if you can actually just tell us a bit more about Nutso's newest project, and of course, what was it like just serving as a producer for this particular project?
Yeah, that album is called the Me Sui Nutso album. It's called Rabioso Mente because it's a Spanglish album. we've been to Spain a number of times, and he has a fan base in Spain. So Nutso has done like a lot of bilingual stuff. So we try to mix it up sometimes for the Latin fans, so they like him the rap in Spanish as well. So that's how that project came together. We had a big fan base in Europe and Spain and Argentina and Chile, Mexico, those Latin American countries, Venezuela. So we were trying to, cater to them as well, but then keep it hip hop as well, because the whole album is not in Spanish. It's mixed in. Like, we have a few features in there. Like, we got Thurston Howell on there. We got Jay Colombo. And they're spitting in English and a little bit of Spanish with Thurston Howell. But yeah, we just mixed it up. But there's like, the only song that I would say is solid English all the way through is a song I produced for Knuckle called Catching a Lick. The other ones are like a mixture of English and Spanish, and then like when you get Jake Colombo on a few of the tracks, he's in English. Rob P, another artist. Reed Roars is another artist who's rapping in English. That Empire. So we got we got Black Poet, Khaled. They all rapping in English. So, but people will be surprised when they pick up the album, because they'll say they think it's an all Spanish album, and it's not. It's mixed up pretty good, so it's kind of 50-50.
And also as well, I noticed that you actually had the opportunity to actually attend the Jam Master Jay and of course MCA of Beastie Boys Day out there in New York City. I was wondering if you can actually just tell our listeners a bit more about that extravagant day, and of course, what was it like just attending that particular event?
Oh yeah, that was an amazing event. I mean, everybody knows what MCA and JMJ, Jam Master Jay, has meant to the culture. When back in the 80s, when those guys came up together, they were touring and they were doing a lot of stuff together, like brothers. And the Beastie Boys that Run DMC, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, man. Everybody knows those two groups. They always tour together. DJ Hurricane is the DJ for the Beastie Boys. MCA passed away, rest in peace, and so did Jam Master Jay. So that's something that they honor every year. They do in honor of them two brothers, Jam Master Jay and MCA from the Beastie Boys. So a lot of people came out and performed at that event. We had Craig G out there. He was doing his thing. You never get a whack show from Craig G. A lot of energy. He got that Juice Crew in him for life. Curious George was up there too, doing a few tracks off the Constipated Monkey album he had. It was amazing. We had Alcoholics was up there. He performed. Who else? Oh, Jam Master Jay's son. Jam Master Jay's son was there. He came and ripped up some turntables like his father used to. So it was amazing. DJ Too Tough from the Tough Crew was also there. I mean, Danny Boy from House of Pain was there. Like, there was a lot of people like coming in and out. DJ JS1, DJ Roland. Like, they had people just coming in and out of there. So it was a great event, man.
And I gotta say as well, man, I'm not gonna lie, that question was definitely just one for myself, man, because I'm a huge Beastie Boy fan, and I gotta say, when MCA passed away, man, I literally actually I literally shut down for like a good couple weeks, man. Definitely one of my hip-hop idols, man. Like, I still can't believe he's gone as well, man. Such a larger-than-life individual.
Yeah, absolutely. His energy, I used to love his voice. Because he had that, I don't know, he was that grimy, hard voice, out of the three of them. I liked his voice the best. Like, it really stood out to me. I mean, I love them all, but there's something about MCA, his voice, the way he attacked the mic, it was just like, I don't know, it was different. It was raw.
I definitely agree with that, man. You could go back and listen to like a record of theirs from 1992, or like the song they did with Nas, or like, you know what I mean, right before his untimely passing, and you won't really hear the difference in his voice. Like, obviously he got a little bit older with the Nas song, but he still has like that raspy, same sounding voice that he had back in the 90s. Truly a one-of-a-kind individual. And not to mention the stuff he did, like climbing Mount Everest, going to like the I think it was like not the Pilgrims, visiting another country of the individuals. I'm kind of losing myself here, but you know what I mean, like just visiting other countries.
Nah, yeah, it was amazing the stuff he did. Yeah, it was so sad to see that happen. And, well, he looked like he lived his life to the fullest. Like that's what he wanted to do. He would do whatever he wanted to do. He would do. So yeah, man, it's definitely crazy that happened. His life ended, so abruptly and short when he got sick.
And also as well, on April 22nd of 2022, yourself and Witchcraft actually released a single titled Cuban Sandwich. I was wondering, how did yourself and Witchcraft get connected? And of course, where can our listeners actually buy or stream themselves a copy of this particular single tonight?
Yeah, me and Witchcraft, me and Witchcraft got together. He was constantly seeing me post music, and I was constantly seeing him post music. And we became a fan of each other, and then he reached out to me about some tracks, and I sent him all the files. We started recording stuff together, and yeah, the rest is pretty much history. We got a lot of other projects we're working on as well. Witchcraft you could catch his stuff on Bandcamp. So it's Witchcraft, you can find him on Bandcamp, you can find him on Spotify, Apple Music, so anything, at Witchcraft, you'll find on any of those, social media platforms. And his IG got a lot of the information. Like he has his link tree set up. So if you hit at Witchcraft, which is WHICHCRAFT, that's his Instagram, he has a link tree set up there. And when you go to that link tree, you'll be able to get all his music right through there, through Bandcamp, Spotify, everything's there.
And I have to ask, Cuban, what is next for yourself, man? Is there anything we happen to miss during tonight's interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Well, we still got you here live on 97.7 FM this evening.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm working on starting up a hip hop band, so I'll be doing live production on MPC Live, and then I'm gonna have DJs cutting live as well, and then we're always gonna have an MC. So we're working on setting up. I've been working on setting that up now. So that's something that we're trying to take on the road and do some touring with.
And also, Cuban, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves, just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, but most of all, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything you got going on if they're not already doing so.
Well, you could reach out to us through our IG pages, which is at Nutso PPM. That's Nutso's page, and mine is at the Cuban, and everything is pretty much posted there, and you always see developments. We always, we stay busy on there, and also on Twitter. Like if you go to at 4 Pocket Music, that's my Twitter, and at Nutso PPM, that's his Twitter. So everything we're doing is always posted. We're very active on social media. So anything we're doing, any upcoming events and anything like that, we're definitely always posting. So we always we don't get lost. We're pretty much working this day in and day out. So you always see everything will be recent on our page.
And also, as well, speaking of Nutso, man, thank you so much as well for just getting myself and my radio station actually connected with him, because I do know he is coming on tomorrow night at the same time, man. So again, just thank you for actually just getting us connected and making that interview possible.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I appreciate you even reaching out to us and you doing your homework, which is good.
I try my best, man. I always say if it's on the internet or if I don't already know it and it is on the internet, best believe I will try my best to scour and find it. You know what I mean? But
yeah. There's a lot of stuff out there. So you definitely found some of the stuff. That's good.
But also as well, man, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual. Just to drop. I know you dropped your social media handles, but if there is anything else you do want to let our listeners know, what would still have you here, this is definitely the time.
Yeah, definitely. Any Canadians out in Toronto or any part of Canada interested in working, just definitely DM me on my Instagram and let's get to work, man. I'm a big fan. There's a lot of Canadian rappers, but I'm going to tell you one of them. I don't know if you're familiar with Fresh West.
Definitely a legend. Canadian legend at that. Did a lot of work for a lot of production work, and of course MC work as well here in Canada. Very, in my personal opinion, definitely highly underrated, man. Deserves so much more credit than what he gets.
Yeah, definitely. If he's ever listening, man, I'll definitely put some work with him anytime he wants to. He's still active in the game. I haven't been following that much, so I'm not too sure. But Fresh West, if you out there, let's get one in.
I ain't even gonna lie, man. I've been trying to book him for the past couple years, man. Haven't got him yet, but you know what I mean. He doesn't know it yet, but he's gonna be coming on the station. He just doesn't know it yet.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, he's definitely a legend. I definitely enjoy all the music he put out during his years, in the early years of hip hop. So that's amazing.
And I gotta say, man, thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening, man. It definitely was an honor, Cuban, and I'm pretty sure we definitely shall talk soon. Shall talk again soon. But for now, man, definitely have yourself a wonderful Monday night.
You too, my brother Immortal. I appreciate you interviewing me, and we'll be talking soon, brother. Thank you.
Hey, most definitely. My DM is always open, Cuban. Thank you so much again.
All right, peace.